the news that came yesterday, bad news for OBJ, good news for Brandin Cooks. He's out of Houston. And remember last year how ugly it got, Chris, around the trade deadline.
Yeah, right.
Brandin Cooks wanted to be traded. The problem was $18 million fully guaranteed salary for 2023.
Right.
So it's a lot of moving parts. It's not just, hey, we're walking away from this guy. It's like, wait a minute, how much are we going to pay? How much will the new team pay? How much are we going to get in trade? Do we have to reduce our demands if we increase the amount we expect the new team to pay? And it was too much to work out on the fly. So they work it out now. I remember in the aftermath, Cooks was gone for a while. They took away his captain logo from his jersey, right. And he finished the season, and now we were waiting. And while we're focused on DeAndre Hopkins getting traded, boom, there's Brandin Cooks, shipped to the Dallas Cowboys for a 5th-round pick this year, 6th-round pick next year, and I'm told the Texans will pay $6 million.
Huge.
$12 million, or the $18 million salary. Cowboys get him for $12 million this year. There's like a $16 million package next year, but $12 million this year for the Cowboys. They give up a 5 and a 6. A year after they traded Amari Cooper in lieu of paying him $20 million, they get Brandin Cooks for $12 million this year.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I saw even in your article yesterday. I mean, $20 million, they get rid of him. You know, that was really nothing. It was where the market ended up going as far as the receiver position. But like, hey, that's a big time move, you know, for the Dallas Cowboys. And you know, again, not like one of these it's a superstar name that just everybody's jaw drops and you go, wow. But anybody that's been paying attention to football the last 6, 7, 8 years, you know how good Brandin Cook is. Yeah, he got stuck down there in Houston a little bit in a part of a team that's not very good, a quarterback that's not very good, still put up good numbers, probably didn't put up as good of numbers as he could have if the offense was better. So that's where it's brilliant by the Dallas Cowboys, and then also brilliant in the fact that, yeah, they found a guy that really didn't want to be with the Houston Texans, so the Texans wanted to make that work and get him out there, get him out of there. They don't want him there, especially if they're going to pick a quarterback at number 2. He doesn't want to be a part of the rebuild, whatever that is. Okay, come over to the Dallas Cowboys. And he's a less risky option than OBJ, to your point. And we don't even know the price tag with the OBJ conversation. DeAndre Hopkins, probably, you know, less expensive in that department too, as far as trade and what you're going to have to pay him on a yearly salary. So, man, you couple this guy with CeeDee Lamb, and then it gives, again, a little insurance for Michael Gallup, who wasn't quite totally his 100% self last year after the ACL injury. They're hoping that. Man, if they can get those 3 going, damn, Dak Prescott will have some weapons, and that'll be a dangerous offense with Tony Pollard playing running back to add to it as well.
1st-round pick of the Saints in 2014.
Man.
He has now been traded 4 times,
That's
tying
crazy.
Eric Dickerson for the all-time record. He went from the Saints to the Patriots, Patriots to the Rams, Rams to the Texans, Texans now, the shortest move yet, just across the state from Houston to Dallas, and he's playing for a team that has a much better chance of being relevant this year, and he adds to that offense. They were missing something last year without Amari Cooper, and they'll never admit it. They'll never acknowledge it. You know how that goes. But the bottom line is that they were missing Amari Cooper, and now they fill that void. So you've got Brandin Cooks to go along with CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott out. And I frankly think, and we talked about this last week, the structure of that Ezekiel Elliott contract gave him another year with the Cowboys. If they would have been able to walk away from Elliott last year, maybe they do keep Amari Cooper. That's one of the practical consequences of how you move around your salary cap dollars, but the end result is they get Cooks now. And, Chris, here's what's surprising to me. It feels like he's been around forever. He's still only 29.
I know.
So he's still got gas in the tank.
Definitely, right? I mean, a little bit, I think, is he's undersized, right? He wanted some money and some, you know, a little more respect when it was New Orleans. I think more money with New England, right? He had the concussion issues. We can't forget about that, where he had a bunch of them in a short period of time where we were like, oh, wait, is his career in trouble? So I think that's added to, you know, lessening his value out there. But, I mean, damn, Mike, there's nothing on the field he can't do. And then you add that to the fact of, like, you kind of just said it right. And Dallas last year, all they had was CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it was like if you stopped CeeDee Lamb, was there really anybody consistently dependable in the pass game at receiver that you knew, oh, wait, this guy can get it done for us here in a big moment? You know, it was Michael Gallup here and there and Noah Brown here and there, and Dalton Schultz was really the guy they relied on. So I think that's where this is going to help CeeDee Lamb out. This is going to help their offense out. And then Cooks is one of those guys too, Mike, that can kind of do it all. He can go over the top, 60-yard post bomb, touchdown, and he can run all the underneath intricate routes, is why Sean McVay and McDaniels and Sean Payton liked him. And that's where he's going to have great value. So it's a great signing to get him for $12 million at this point of his career.
He has 6,000-yard receiving seasons in his career, which is amazing. The high water mark was 2018 with the Rams with 1,204. But he has been a very consistent, high-level performer throughout various teams. He's played in a couple of Super Bowls, and it was that Super Bowl 52 against the Eagles. Remember, he got hit really hard by Malcolm Jenkins and exited the game with a concussion. And he was having multiple concussions in a fairly short period of time, and that was creating concern. And he's been okay lately, which is very good news for him, but that's one of the risks you take when you acquire him. But the reward far outweighs the risk for the Dallas Cowboys. They had this need, as we've said. And I have a memory of going down to the Greenbrier one of the years that the Saints were there for training camp, and it was Cook's rookie season. And I just have like this lingering image of him springing up to make a catch. And, you know, we were impressed last week by the Tyreek Hill jump at the 60-meter race that he just kind of showed up and ran. It was kind of like that impressive, where you see this guy who has incredible leaping ability, and we know how fast and agile he is, but I just still have that lingering image of him jumping up to make a catch. And that was before he had ever played in an NFL game. That was back in 2014. So the Saints knew he was going to be special. I'm surprised maybe the Broncos didn't try to get in on that, just because Sean Payton's there now, and you know, he's got the history with Cooks, but it went south early, like you said, for whatever reason.
Remember?
Saints.
He wanted more respect or something like that. They wanted the ball more with Sean Payton and the Saints. I kind of feel like something like that knocked it off kilter to a degree, and then there's just
it was never a big blow up.
No, it was.
It was
not.
always kind of like the ugliest it ever got was with the Texans this year. He was always able to finesse a trade behind the scenes without it blowing up, and there's always a demand. And he was passed around for first-round picks at first. He got drafted with a first-round pick, got a first-round pick from the Patriots, got a first-round pick from the Rams. I believe the Rams gave up a one for him. Well, the Rams gave up a one for everybody. Rams gave up a one for me back in that phase. Not really. But anyway, and then it started to tail off with the Texans, and now a 5 and a 6. That's a steal for the Cowboys, and to not have to pay the $18 million.
That's huge.
The Texans knew they had to move on, and they clear the cap space. They paid the $6 million, and now we see what Brandin Cooks can do with the Dallas Cowboys. So impressive. And the Texans are going to need receivers now too. They need a lot of things. But now they're going to need some help at receiver, especially if they use that second overall pick on a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that it's, second overall pick on a quarterback. They got John Mechie, who had some health issues, never got to play last year, but was a third-round pick, I believe, the receiver from Alabama. And I would think that they're going to build it more along, hey, we want younger receivers to come up the pipeline and grow with our young quarterback, rather than Brandin Cooks, almost 30 years old, doesn't really want to be here and be part of this rebuild with the young quarterback. So it makes sense from their standpoint in a lot of ways. It really does. Get that off the books, move on, start to build a different culture around your new quarterback, whoever that's going to be, and then Dallas gets what they want. Too much, relying on CeeDee Lamb last year. You put Gallup and CeeDee Lamb outside, and now you got Brandin Cooks, working the slot. Wow. I mean, you couple that with Tony Pollard at running back and Dalton Schultz at tight end. I mean, it changes your thought and look of the Dallas Cowboy team, especially if Michael Gallup's back to 100%. then you go, whoa, those are three guys. That's tough three man-to-man matchups right there, let alone we know Dallas can run the ball a little bit and all that once Pollard gets healthy. So I'm certainly would be excited if I'm a Cowboys fan about the potential of what these guys can do at receiver.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.